The Queen Mother Champion Chase, I know you were a great Queen Mother fan when she was around. Now, there's the two Nichols horses here. You can set the ball rolling here. Masterminded, who won most impressively at Newbury, Twist Magic, won the Tingle Creek, and last the champion, Boy Porus Dennis. They're the top three. It's a fascinating race, isn't it?
Well, I think it's an easy race. I think Mastermind is absolute certainty. Vorpal Estates last year beat River City and Dempsey. I think I'd have a good chance of beating them over 2 miles if I could leave the piss alone for a week. It's definitely the worst champion chase ever run. I think Kieran agrees with me with that. It was an awful race last year. He's been beaten twice by Twist Magic and Mastermind. Why should he beat him again?
There's 3 Grade 1 races you've rated as one of the worst of all time. I thought we were going through a vintage patch.
Did you think that River City and Dempsey were the same as Azertioff, Moscow Flyer,
no.
and World Chiefs?
No, I'm just
I'd like to see your handicap if it was.
No, I'm just latching on because there were 3 Grade 1 races we looked at. You said them that they were all.
Well, last year's champion chase was awful. Well, you have to agree with me with that, with River City placing, surely.
But this was
a race on your weather the other day.
But this would be a better race than last year's race.
Yeah, I do. I think there's 2 better horses, well, 3 better horses. Tamarind Blur, Twist Magic and Masterminded. They're 3 better than Vorpal Estates. I just can't have him. The Masterminded was hugely impressed with Newbury. We all got a message flying around that this had been working brilliantly with Cato's Star before it ran at Newbury, and the price collapsed 16s into 8s before he ran at Newbury, and Ruby put him out in front, knew he had a good horse, and just basically ran away from Vorpal Estates. If you watch the race, it's very hard to see Vorpal Estates turning the form round. He had chock beat 33 fences only, just waltzed away from him. He's only a 5-year-old, he's improving. Twist Magic, the danger with him was, did he leave his race behind at Ascot? He was a very, very tired horse when he came home from Ascot, could hardly walk. Took him a long time to get over the Ascot race, he really did. And again, is he a flat track bully? Very, very impressive at Aintree after he fell at Cheltenham last year. I've been told Ruby's definitely going to ride Masterminded. Tamarind Blur's, to me, just to be the fly in the ointment. I think he could be the one who could finish second in this race. Again, you look at the race at Ascot when he ran away from Twist Magic.
There's no fluke about that at all, was there?
No, I don't think there was. People are saying Twist Magic would beat it back again and go, I wouldn't have it, he annihilated it. And again, whenever I watch videos of races, I try and watch horses finish at the end of the race. The most important thing for me is how an horse finishes a race. Is he going on at the race? Does the jockey have trouble putting him up? And Twist Magic was legless at the end of the Ascot race. He really did take a long time to get over it. He may be a horse best fresh, as we see at Sandown this year. But I think Masterminded a win. I think Tamarind Blur will give him a good toe. Someone's put up that the horse is inexperienced, which was a fair call. He's only had the 2 runs over fences, having fallen at Exeter, but that was with Sam Thomas, not with Ruby Walsh. And I think Masterminded, 11 to 4 is a fair punt.
So Masterminded for you, Andrew?
I couldn't have Masterminded. I think he was gifted the game Spirit Chase. He set his own sedate pace, quickened up to win by 5 lengths. Vorpal Estates is a different horse at Cheltenham. He won this last year. He won the Arden the year before. I think he'll reverse the form. Twist Magic doesn't get 2 miles on a stiff track when there's a decent pace. Okay, he won a Tingle Creek, but it crawled in the early stages there, and he couldn't live with Tamarind Blur at Ascot. I think the pipe runner, Tamarind Blur, best fresh, been off the track for 53 days. I think he'll make the running, and he's in danger, but Vorpal Estates will pick him up close on.
Anything at a longer price? Farallon ran well for a long time in the race.
I can't have that one. It doesn't jump well enough for me.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised with the couch here about Masterminded, because his theory about not fancying Asano in the champion hurdle was because he got an easy lead in the trial. Well, for me, Masterminded did exactly the same.
It didn't at Sandown when he ran.
No, but that was just a little handicap. If he had lost at Sandown, it would be $1 million for this race.
It'd be just so impressive. You take on Paul Nicholls, the fact he's working at home with Cato's Star, the fact that the money was massive for it at Newbury. Vorpal Estates, as Andrew said, has won the champion chase in an Arkle. The point was right that Ruby did sort of go out in front and have the run of the race, but he just, to me, just ran away from Vorpal Estates. I have to just think, again, with Vorpal Estates this year, getting beat by Cheltenham at Cheltenham, I can't believe an horse like Wiltshire or Azertioff would have got beaten. I was there. It was only heavy when it rained on the day, actually, on the Sunday. It wasn't really that heavy. But I just can't see a champion chaser getting beaten by Cheltenham, and I've always thought it was a Hereford horse. But, it's just the way I see it. I just think Mastermind is the real improving horse, and I think last year's form is just a bit vulnerable.
Okay, well, what I see is, on the basis Tamarind Blur does run in this rather than the run there, which I think it will, we're going to get a fast pace. Farallon's going to be up there, Tamarind. I think Vorpal Estates will be a lot closer and may reverse the form with Mastermind. The last 50 yards of that race, Boy Prostettos was closing in, coming right on the line, and of course was giving weight away. I think there'll be a lot less between them at Cheltenham, but I've always been a Twist Magic fan. Nichols told everyone on our programme to back this 6 to 8 months ago. I can't have the Couch's theory about the flat track, because effectively, if it hadn't fallen over, it definitely would have won the Arkle without a shadow of a doubt. So it's gone up most of the hills, it just didn't quite come down the last one. So I can have it at the track. Speed horse. If the ground was bottomless, no, I wouldn't fancy it at all. But on the basis the ground is good to soft, which we've got to predict that it will be, I think he's the absolute speed horse, and he'll come and pick them up close home. He jumps when he gets it right, Twist Magic, like very few horses. Even in the country at Ascot, when it was beat by Tamarin Bleu, it skipped over some of the fences if it wasn't there.
Would you bird if Ruby Road masterminded, Matt?
No, I don't want Ruby on it. He'll hold it up ridiculously out the back, and he'll be coming far too. I'd have Sam Thomas over Ruby Walsh any day of the week, and if I was Denman's owner, I would be the happiest man on earth, as I think he is actually, judging by the slight sort of comments he's made already. Definitely have Sam Thomas.
Are you not a Ruby fan?
I love Ruby Walsh, but not as a punter. I can't have horses. Why did Pike win so many horses in the 80s and races in the 80s and 90s?
Because they were crooked.
He kept it. They were crooked, but he kept it simple. You don't need to. If you hold up last.
I mean, Peter Scudamore nicking 20 lengths at the start wasn't crooked. Or was you too young for that?
But they had the fitness advantage in those days, didn't
They
they?
had advantage that there was only one try for them.
Whether it was crooked or it was the only fit horse, the fact of the matter is, if you're held up last, you've got a chance of everything getting in the way of you. If you're out in front, there's nothing that can get in your way. And Ruby, for me, is a nightmare. For all that he looks brilliant a lot of the time, and he does, on novice chases, he gets them round and he looks fantastic.
Well, you masterminded that one. Newbury.
Well, masterminded, the plan was if no one wanted to go on to nick it at the start, and he managed to pull that off.
Or on Caldine at Furls today.
Well, you can, of course, always pick out exceptions to the rule.
Of fouls, isn't it?
We can all pick out exceptions to the rule, but I think man to man in here, everyone would think of Ruby Walsh much more as a hold-up jockey than a front-running jockey, and I'd rather have Sam on my horse. So Twist Magic for me.
Matt, just to button in there, who would you think Harry Finley would rather have on Denman? Do you think he'd rather have Ruby Walsh or Sam Thomas? Your honestly opinion.
I don't have to be honest about it. I think absolute fact he wants Sam Thomas. I don't even think it's a debate. I think he'd be pissed off if he had Ruby.
I think you're wrong, but what does everybody else think? Who do you think Harry Finley would rather have? Ruby Walsh? Put your hands up if you think Ruby Walsh. Or Sam Thomas? Oh, there's nothing in it. We'll ask him in a minute.
How many times since Corto Star and Sam won at Haydock has Clive Smith come on and said it was great to have Sam on the first time we've ever seen that Corto Star can be ridden from the front or properly. The first time we've not had any risks or anything like that was the first time Thomas was on board. He's just more positive.
That was the time Exotic Dancer got the closest to him.
Well, that was about the only time Exotic Dancers performed well this season. And to be fair, you could argue that Barry Geraghty gave that the best ride that Exotic Dancers ever got as well.
Okay, we move on. Twist Magic is your selection anyway, Matt, most definitely.
We talk about the Gold Cup.
We're talking about the championship. We've gone to the Gold Cup, I think. Kieran, the view of...
Matt says he would have won the Arkle. Well, we've got no idea. When he came off the bridle at Ascot, he stopped as if he'd been shot, and we just simply don't know what would have happened in the Arkle. We'll find out.
We do, because we saw him in the Tingle Creek.
It's a totally different track, Sandown. And they went no gallop at all at Sandown. It was a 2 furlong sprint. He beat Boy Prostettos. Can't have either of them. I think it'll be one of the newcomers, one of the improvers, Masterminds or Tamarin Bleu. I think we've gone from a real peak in the Moscow Fly years to a real trough with these current champion chasers. And it's just wide open for something to improve, same as the champion hurdle. And that Masterminded, I think you're effectively backing him on his jumping. I thought his jumping got largely better at Sandown, it was even better at Newbury last time. And I think, I wouldn't go as far as say tipping itself, but the fact that he works with Corto Star is interesting. But Tamarin Bleu is a value, no doubt about it. That Ascot form is absolutely rock solid. He destroyed Twist Magic that day. He can set the same fractions again. The simple fact is everyone's saying he needs further. He's been a totally revitalised horse since they put headgear on him. He'll have headgear on again at Cheltenham. 6 to 1 is huge if he runs in the race.